What's up, guys? Excuse me. I'm Jules. Thanks for coming back for another weekly update. It is October 22nd. Roughly a week from now, we'll be very close to Halloween, the end of October, which is absolutely insane. I hope you've been doing well. I was on my trip to Indiana this past weekend. Got back on Sunday and I had a great time. Saw a lot of family. Hadn't seen her in a very, very long time. And it was really great to kind of meet everybody again, and kind of get to know them in a new way. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. So let's see, today is Wednesday, and so I've had a few days since I'm back. I have gotten some stitching done. It's all been on Old World Map 2. Got about 1,000 stitches done. And where am I? I'm over here. Shoo. I'm making progress on this page. You can kind of see where I've been. I probably have got, maybe another 1,000. Maybe another 1,000. It's hard to say on this page, but coming along very well. Making a lot of nice progress on it. Would love to be done with this page by the end of October. That would be very, very cool. So I had a thought, and I was thinking last night about, or was it this morning? Sometime in the last 24 hours, I was like, man, how much, I feel like I've gotten a lot of stitching done on Old World Map 2 in this last year. Like, I know I didn't do it for most of the year, but I was stitching on it last winter, right? I was stitching on it at the beginning of the year and the end of last year, and I was like, well, let me go back and see where I was roughly at this time a year ago. Let me see where I was. And so I pulled up a title of the video was my current progress on Old World Map 2, roughly around this time, 2024. And where was I? I was trying to finish this particular page right here. I thought that I had been back here. That was probably like 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm kind of sad about that. I'll be honest. I mean, I know that I keep talking about all the progress that I want to make, and the lack of progress that I'm making on this is just really disappointing in some ways, but I have been making a lot of progress as of late, and that makes me happy. So I was like on this, I want to say it was roughly this second page. So I had finished this page, and then done this, and really I've just done all that in the last couple of months, really. I'd say roughly about 8,000 stitches maybe. So insane. I'm a little disappointed. And then let me pull up. So then I'm like, I'm looking at my tablet from my pattern keeper, and I was kind of just saying, well, if I do, so each page, when I say page, it's like the physical page that this would have been. I mean, I used to do this. The first row, the beginning of the first row was done with physical pages, and that was just terrible. That was absolutely so hard. Before Pattern Keeper, I was so slow. And so I was looking at my tablet, and I was like, well, let me go back and look at, like, well, let me think about it. So if I'm stitching roughly, say, a page a month, and each page is roughly 3,500 stitches, if I maintain this pace, which I know I won't. I don't do that, but I know I won't. Like, where would I be like in a year or something like that? And I even gave myself a couple months to slow down and different things. And I was like, oh, I'll be 10 pages further, and it doesn't even take me to like, it takes me to like halfway. Do I have pages here? Oh, come here. I don't even think I have a page. I don't have the pages. Let me pull that up here. I don't stitch with the page on here. I'll stitch with, let me go back. When I am stitching this gigantic project, I will roughly stitch, and I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can turn this down a smidge. I will roughly stitch to the rough end of the page where I'm at. Now this, I'll probably just go here on this next page, because I don't like going all the way over to the dotted line where the actual end of the page is. It just, I don't know, it just makes it difficult. I just like to go to the end of the actual grid. And I was like, oh, well, if I count out So I zoomed out and I started counting across, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, it might take me about here. And then I kind of kept going, and I was like, what the heck is all of this not finished stuff? So what I did was this tablet, I think I switched over to this tablet like at the beginning of this year. The other one was starting to fade. I was having issues with, I forgot, power or screen, or I forgot what. I was having issues with it. It was pretty heavily used. So I switched over to this one, and I know that when I started stitching this, that I went back, or even last year, like when I was working on these final pages, that I filled all that in, but I must not have updated my, they call it a PK file, so the Pattern Keeper progress file. I didn't upload that to this when I started on the second row. And I'm mad. I'm mad at myself. And primarily because if I were to go back now and try to update that with, say, like if I somehow had the old file someplace, I wouldn't be able to do it without erasing all the progress I've made on that second row. So I've got to go back and manually actually fill everything in. And so far I've done like about 1,000 stitches of what I hadn't marked off before. So that's no fun, but I'll work on it a little bit at a time. Obviously it's not a huge deal, but it does throw me off of my total stitch count. So I mean, I'm sitting at just under 80,000 stitches right now, of a total of 696 stitches, 960. It's a lot. But I probably have closer to like 82 or 83,000 right now based on where I'm at, which actually doesn't put me on pace to finish at 100,000 stitches by the end of the year, but I might be able to get kind of close. I might be able to get close if I can maintain my progress. That is the big if. And honestly, I have kind of pushed some other things aside for now in the interest of just working on Old World Map 2 until I kind of feel like it's a bit of a pain, a bit of a chore. And I'll set it aside for a bit, work on some other things. But I've kind of relaxed about stitching my own stuff or stitching various things. I kind of just want to stitch what I want to stitch. I got a lot that I can stitch. I'm actually working on a new hobby because I just have too much free time on my hands and I want to do other things. And believe it or not, it actually has to do with like Legos. And so I know it's kind of a weird thing. I'm not really that much into Legos, but I'm actually kind of working on some inventory type issues. Not issues, inventory / used parts store or something. Anyway, if you don't know anything about Legos, don't worry about it. It's kind of a weird thing. And the fact that I'm not that big into it, although I am feeling myself being drawn into it, I just like the inventory aspect of this, all the thousands of different parts that you can have, and the minutia of it just tickles a brain cell or two in here that I just love. So it's a hobby. It's a hobby. So I'm going to work on that when I'm not stitching. I actually think that it'll help me stay motivated with some of these things because I can go from like obsession to obsession to obsession and stay obsessed like all day long until I burn myself out, and then I just kind of watch football and play video games, and I can do that too. So, but I like to stay busy. It's what I do. But anyway, so I'm kind of in this boat right now where I'm just not like, you know, I'm just not, I am stitching on my special, I said my special project. I can't show it to you guys until it's done. Probably be the end of the year, roughly, by when it's done. I did about 700 stitches on it this week, but I can't show you because then you'll know what it is, and then the secret's out, so I can't do that. So let's talk about more. So let's talk about actually, okay, good, it is recording. Android has some kind of a weird update, and now the video camera thing looks different than it used to, so I just want to make sure that I was recording. Okay, thank you, Bodie. Appreciate you, buddy. Bodie's doing fantastic. You would never be able to tell anything happened other than he has still the shaved spots on his neck, and but he's doing absolutely fantastic. He's off all of his meds now. Couldn't have asked for a better better experience as far as that's concerned, as far as everything after, up to surgery. Not for him, not on his part, but on our part, we were just absolutely thrilled. So, all right, so patterns that I have been working on, because I have worked on some. Last time we talked, that I talked about doing this stuff. I can't quite remember. I'll probably do some overlapping because it's been a couple weeks since I talked about these. And I think that I may have ended up, I think I talked about Hopkins County Courthouse, which is a monochrome courthouse in Ohio. Did I tell you guys that I did the ring? Yeah, I talked about the orangutan because I was like, how do you say it? Orangutan? Orangutan? Like, how do you say it? So I did that one in monochrome. I have the Garrick Theater, or the Schiller building in Chicago. I did Ben Franklin, historical figure. Now, did I show you guys, a lot of these are actually color ones now. I did like a huge line of monochromes. Now I'm talking about color stuff. So I did a tulip, a very large tulip, very large pink-ish tulip that I think is beautiful, and that is really, really nice. I don't have a lot of flower stuff on my in my store, and so along those lines, I also did this one I call a vintage garden magazine. So it's literally like an old garden magazine cover, and it has, I don't know, are those roses or tulips, or I really don't know. Don't know what they are. I'm not a flower person, so but I got that one, large, full coverage. Did that one. Then I have another monochrome, but it's another one of those like romantic. I just call it proposal, and so it's just a black and white. You don't have to stitch it in black. You can stitch it in any color you want to. But the white's not stitched, so it's just whatever you want to stitch it on. And it's not a very large, it's 100 by 135, really doesn't have, it's like 5,700 stitches. So you could almost say it's a mini, but I've kind of gotten out of calling things mini and premium and all that stuff. Another large full coverage one that I did, and this one is big. This one's called the City Investing Building, which it's an old skyscraper that used to be in New York City. It's since been torn down. I forget what was built over it, but it's insane to think that there were skyscrapers that have been torn down in New York City that have now been, I mean, we all know about 9/11 and whatnot, but I'm talking about like deliberate deconstruction to construct something new. So, but this one is big. I mean, I love the vintage look. It's 265 by 410, and it has 63 colors in it. So, pretty big, pretty barge pattern now. So, and then we have another full coverage. I finally got a Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis. And this is kind of more of what I would consider a medium to large project. It's 250 by 150, 36 colors. It's just the mountain, mountain range in Canada or Alaska or whatnot with the Northern Lights over it. So it's just, cute little, not little, but it's a nice little one. Now, I also have this decent sized, I call it Christmas Village. And it's a artsy painting cross stitch pattern where it's like you could almost say it's Christmas Eve per se, but it's this cute little colorful, probably is in Europe someplace. The moon is out, there's mountains in the background. It's pretty. So anyway, so that's Christmas. So it's 270 by 200 with 52 colors in it. Cute little thing. Cute as a bug in a rug, I'm telling you. And then the last one for this week that is actually published, this is a replication of a painting by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. I can't say it, I'm sorry. I'm not good at the accents there. This is Joan of Arc, believe it or not. And so you may have seen this. This is, she's apparently kissing this sword, and the sword has some kind of meaning, and I don't know what that is, but Joan of Arc, the famous historical French woman who was famous for some kind of resistance. I don't quite remember what that was, but this is a large paint or large cross stitch pattern, 300 by 340, only 39 colors, and just very artsy Renaissance painting. There are lots of things that I don't know anything about, and paintings are one of them. So, but there's that. So, and then I have another one, a black and white that's getting ready to come out. Is it black and white? No, it's grayscale. I gotta get it up on the stores, and I'm almost there. But I call this one the Guggenheim ceiling. So it's basically the Guggenheim Museum in New York City. It's one of the ceiling, like the light, it's not a light fixture, but it's like a skylight, and it's like the pattern that's over the skylight. So I try to make it monochrome, but honestly, it just looks so much better with grayscale. So that's a big one that's coming out. And then, let's see what else. Do I have anything? I have things that are like in the in the other mode. I've got a couple colorful ones that are on their way, but nothing huge just yet. I am doing a sale right now. If you like the Halloween, cross stitch patterns, right now in the Halloween section is I think it's a buy two get two free deal. I know it's on the website. Pretty sure it's on Etsy, or Etsy might just be it's a 30% off sale or something like that. It's a big sale going on right now. But we'll probably do some pretty big sales coming up here. Worked on the website a fair bit, the website store a fair bit this last couple of days. Got some things reorganized in it. So pretty happy with how it looks. So, you know, the business has done okay. It's gotten harder. I mean, honestly, there's just so much competition. And I don't know if there's just less cross stitchers out there, or just the competition is just so great at this point. I mean, in some ways, the business has continued to grow, just mildly, but it has come at the expense of, like, I've had to advertise for it. So, so in a sense, it kind of hasn't. I don't know. I struggle with the idea of advertising, because with the amount that you make, with the amount that you spend advertising, depending upon how much you make, I mean, return on investment for advertising, like, what do you want? Do you want a 50% return? Do you want a 150% return? You know, I try to shoot for at least a 1-to-1 kind of a thing, but it goes up and it goes down, and it's just kind of, you know, it is what it is. So I feel like I'm at a point where I'm obviously continuing the business. I'm continuing the patterns. I'm just going to continue to put patterns up and continue to grow the store. And I think it's more of just trying some different things, trying some different subjects for patterns, and just continuing to put more and more up there until I just get a gazillion patterns, and that's just how it is. So, and just stitch whatever I want to stitch on. That works. I think that works pretty well. So I have one more trip before the end of the year. It will likely be a trip in December back to see family in Kentucky. And then it'll be at least a few months, 2 or 3 months minimum, before I do another trip that I can think of. Yeah. I otherwise just want to stay home, honestly, because the traveling is kind of exhaustive. And the weird thing is I haven't gotten sick, knock on wood. I have not gotten sick in this year, in at least a year. I don't know, it's been a long time. With as much as I go in and out of different places, and much as I've traveled, I'm shocked that I haven't gotten sick. I think it's just, I'm sleeping better, I'm a lot healthier. You know, we'll go from there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The dogs are chilling. Hubs will be home in an hour, and probably gonna get something to eat here. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh man, There was one other thing I was going to tell. Oh, so the whole thing about written patterns. I said I was going to put written patterns up on the store, and I put about 20 of them up. And I'm saying, when I say written, I mean like physical patterns that you can buy, and then I will then mail to you. And I thought about starting a second store, and I thought that was just going to be a whole lot of expense and time for potentially little return. I just wasn't really sure how many people actually wanted to buy a physical pattern. So I was like, all right, well, let me just put a section on my store and just have it clearly labeled physical cross stitch pattern and then whatever it was. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I get those up there, this lovely lady buys 3 patterns, 2 of them digital, 1 of them physical, and I have to go in and double check and check with her and be like, did you mean to order this one physical? And no, she did not. So I switched it to digital, refunded her back the difference in the money, and immediately just took all those physical pattern things off. Because I'm like, this is what happened last time. Like when I gave people options, half the time they picked the wrong option because they just weren't paying attention and thinking that, well, it's all digital patterns. I'll just get, that's just how it is. So anyway, so if you need a digital pattern, just let me know. Reach out to me on Etsy, email me, send me a message at stitchingjewelsdesign@gmail.com. Feel free to do that. I don't know if the person who had requested a physical pattern of one of my patterns requested a physical pattern. I've sent multiple message/listings to you, and yet I don't know where we're messing up. I don't know where we're not communicating. I've had somebody else that's gotten a custom pattern at the same time frame, and they saw what theirs was. I don't know if you need to look on your actual message and click on the picture that probably says custom listing. I have the pattern all printed out, ready to go. I just needs to be paid for. I'm sorry for the frustration and the not sure what we're doing. It definitely was different on Etsy this time as far as how to put a custom order together, and but it did seem to work for the other person. So I don't really know what's going on. So so if you'd like if you'd like any kind of modification on something, just let me know. I can see if I can do it. I have gotten better about handling issues right away. Believe it or not, the last couple months, I don't know what it is. I feel like I've turned another leaf, page, whatever, and maybe a smidge more mature. I don't know. It's hard to say, but all right. All right, I think that's it. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Whenever you watch this, I need to do another stitch with me at some point. I got out of those for last couple weeks, and I will get back into that. I can get that set up and done probably tomorrow, to be honest with you, and get something out this weekend. So I'm gonna get back to doing a little bit of stitching here, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, that you're getting a lot of stitching done, and I will see you soon. Bye.